Katherine Deves was far from a household name until the Prime Minister handpicked her to run in the seat of Warringah.
Miss Deves, just wondering if we could ask you a few questions. Do you stand by your comments that you've made? If you win the seat, you're going to have to answer some questions.
Last month, Deves apologised for describing transgender children as surgically mutilated and sterilised in a series of now deleted tweets. The PM rallying behind his pick.
The comments that Katherine has made, obviously, were insensitive, and she's admitted that. She has withdrawn those comments, and she has acknowledged they've been insensitive.
Yesterday, Deves reignited the controversy, walking back that apology and defending her use of the term mutilation.
That is actually the correct medico-legal term when you are looking at medical...
But you were wrong to use that language?
Look, it's very emotive and it's very confronting and it's very ugly. So, of course, people are going to be offended. But when you look at medical negligence cases, that is the terminology that they use. It is also contained in the Crimes Act of New South Wales.
And today it became another headache for the PM on the campaign trail.
That's not a phrase that I would use. What we're talking about here is gender reversal surgery for young adolescents. And we can't pretend this is not a very significant, serious issue. It is.
Children under the age of 18 can't undergo gender reassignment surgery in Australia, so how are your comments relevant?
I'm not a surgeon and I'm not the chief medical officer. You will also understand that this process can begin in adolescence.
What this shows is how ill-informed the Prime Minister is about these issues. There are people who can talk about these issues, endocrinologists, GPs. Scott Morrison is neither of those people.
Some of our most vulnerable children in their most challenging hour, used as a political football.
I think about the young 10-year-old transgender girl who's sitting in the back of her parents' car on the way to netball training, and she's listening to her Prime Minister spread this misinformation about her life.
I am absolutely pleased that I've been able to recruit strong female Liberal candidates, but will actually stand up for what they believe in. That's what being a Liberal is all about. Thank you.
Guardian political reporter Amy Remeikis joins us now. Amy, we've seen there the PM continues to defend Katherine Deves quite strongly, actually. Why do you think he's doing that?
I think only the Prime Minister could tell us that for the exact reasons, but I think that he and the Liberal Party see that there are votes to be won in some of Katherine Deves' views, and that while most people definitely do not agree with them, that there would be some voters who would be thinking along the same lines, and they're trying to court those people and keep them in the tent.
So, Amy, of course, OK, some of her comments maybe will win votes, but surely there has to be some worry here as well, with the Liberal Party worried that her comments will actually detract from votes in inner-city seats. So what do you think will happen there?
I think there are a lot of inner-city Liberals who are quite angry over these comments and the fact that the Prime Minister continues to stand by them, considering the communities that they represent definitely don't agree with these views. And it has to be said too that this isn't about politics or winning votes or losing votes. There is a very vulnerable community here who are being used as political fodder, and I don't think that anybody is feeling too happy about that.
Talk about the use of that vulnerable community again as a political football. So just how did we end up here and why do we keep ending up here?
Australia seems to really love culture wars as part of its political debate, which I think is disappointing to many voters. But it grabs headlines. I mean, we're talking about it now. It's been all over all of the newspapers. It's all over social media. And while we're talking about that, we're not actually examining the policies or lack of policies or having a really good look at what, each side is offering. So there's a reason why we ended up back here, but I hope that we leave it very soon.
You've been following the campaign very closely. How do you think it's going for both sides at the moment?
It's very, very tight, and I think that this next 11 or 10 days or whatever it is that we have left is going to be very, very messy because there is a pool of undecided voters there that each side is desperately trying to grab, and they are just slugging it out in the trenches. So I don't think that Scott Morrison thought it would be this tight by this point in the campaign. I think he was hoping that people would start to turn back to the Liberal Party and the coalition as a whole, and I think Anthony Albanese thought that he'd be even further ahead in terms of his own personal popularity. So neither leader is where they wanted to be, and that's just going to be a pretty messy couple of days for the rest of us.
You want to tell us who's going to win?
If I knew that, then I wouldn't be doing this job.
No, but I don't require you to know it. I just require you to say something with no supporting evidence whatsoever that we can hold you to account.
Just the vibe. I will pick up on the vibe. Look, I think that a hung parliament is a very big possibility, and then it'll be down to that crossbench over which side they decide to support.
You have successfully found the answer that commits you to nothing, Amy. Well done. Well
You're
done.
welcome. And now I'd like to announce my political candidacy.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.